My personal experience, the closest I've had to a mystical experience probably is one of these times when I probably should have died when I was younger or could have. Um, I was tubing down a river. Do you guys do that? You know, like with like old tire tubes or whatever.
No, even
Like
well, yeah, we do it like with inflatable tires, but
yeah,
not
yeah,
actual.
inflatable.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we were doing it down this river in South Dakota, and it's not like a big great river. There's not a lot of water in South Dakota, and and there were these spots, and I was doing it with a bunch of friends. I'm trying to think of when it was, like if it was high school, it's probably high school, or if it was later on in college. I can't remember exactly, but and we had all these different tires, and some of them were smaller, and then we had this one big one. It was like a tractor tire, and nobody really liked that because like it's just not. It's awkward to sit on. Like you can't sit in it well. Where like the smaller ones, you know, they're perfect. Just your butt
Yeah.
goes in it, chill. Um, and I don't know. We were drinking and partying like we always were. Like that's what we always did in Western South Dakota. Was just got drunk all the time. And and this river was had all these shallow spots. It would be, you know, your tube would kind of catch on the gravel and whatever, and it wasn't ever very deep. So it was just, you know, we weren't ever thinking about it. And we were rotating the tubes, and the one time I got the tractor tube and we started rounding this bend in the corner, and the water started picking up a lot faster than it was the rest of the time. And so then all of a sudden, like I just put down my legs in the tube to get to the bottom and get out of the current or whatever. And like I couldn't reach the bottom. Like I went all the way down. And so like it all of a sudden got that deep where it was deeper than I could even touch. And this current was really picking up and it was moving toward this bend in the river. So like all the heavy current was headed for this bend in the river where all this trees and brush and sticks and stuff had accumulated. And I started heading for that. And like it just all happened so fast that before I just couldn't get out of the current. And this tube, the current was going so fast that this tube, there was a big log like this big around, probably just a couple feet off the water. And the tube like got sucked like about halfway under this thing while I was in the middle of it. And so like I grabbed the log just trying to hang on, but like the current was so strong that it just like sucked me under the water in this river. And I remember, and like the reason I bring this up is because I remember being under the water and the water's just turning around and I like am opening, and I just remember having this period like I was instantly kind of in that. It wasn't it wasn't a spaceless thing, but it was timeless, where it was just this thing of like all it's kind of like life flashing before your eyes. Because I remember having the thought like this is the end, like this is where you're gonna die. Like you didn't expect to die this morning, and and then all like I remember like looking around and you just couldn't see anything. I have no idea. I mean, because a lot of times in those rivers, it'll carve out a bank underneath, and it'll carve out like an underground cave or something where like you can get trapped under there and like basically pinned to the back of some mud wall where sticks are flying around everywhere and just not get out. And I remember opening up my eyes and just not even being able to see light, and I was just like, I'm done. And then all of a sudden, I saw some sort of light and just swam as much as I could, and I popped out and was able to climb up on stuff. And and I just remember looking around at all my friends, and like they weren't even aware, or that, and they realized what happened to me. They were all just laughing their heads off. They just thought it was hilarious. And I was just thinking like I was just died. And then, I mean, whatever. This is how stupid we were as young kids. And then later on, after that, we found out that we were all like diving off the log into the current later on because we were just. And then you'd like coast off to the side and be able to climb up and just keep doing it. So it was like this cool thing afterwards because you would dive in, like you straight dive as hard as you could, and like swim as hard as you could, and pop up like where you dove in. It was
Uh,
wild.
yeah.
Um, but I bring that up to be like that's probably the closest thing that I've had to some sort of mystical experience. Yeah, because I don't have that kind of stuff. A lot of people connected to the whole faith discussion, you know, they kind of hang their faith almost on these mystical experiences too. And I'm just like, I don't. Part of it is I'm just like I'm weird, even with psychedelics. Like I've never used psychedelics. I don't feel the need to use psychedelics because I'm kind of like my temperament is such that like compared to most people, it's like I'm tripping all the time, you know? So like I don't think I really need drugs to,
No.
you know,
No, I think a lot of people
cascade.
don't, to be honest. Like
Yeah,
in ancient Greece, the mystery cults, they were only for a very small percentage of people that really seemed to be in need of them because like perhaps their minds were so hard that they couldn't do anything else but break them open with a radical experience. And I think it's similar today, which I think is why
yeah,
it shouldn't be a popular general thing for people to do. Um,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, it send a lot of people off the deep end.